I'm Mariah Renee. This is Mariah Manifest. It's a noisy morning this morning, but that doesn't stop us, so enjoy the morning ambiance. We are going to explore my wills and will nots of friendship. I will listen. I will not try to solve your problems. I love connecting. I love having introspective conversation. I like thinking. I like reflecting. These types of conversations are right up my alley. They're just what I naturally think about. I like to think about how people socialize. I like to think about community dynamics. I like to observe. I like when people share things that they're going through. I like being able to see people to a very deep degree. Like, I like being able to look at you and be like, yeah, I know who you are. Also, I learn about myself when I look at you too. I see me reflected in you, and I learn who you are beyond my common ground with you. I have no issues talking about more emotional topics. But where I found myself playing a huge role in noticing that conversations that maybe were once mutual are starting to feel more like dumping grounds for me, the more I pretended to have answers for people. I noticed myself expecting my friends to take those solutions. And when my friends didn't do that, when my friends just continued living their life, when the conversation ended and that was just sort of the end of that, I found myself becoming really frustrated with my friends. And I think that opened the door to, number one, a sense of judgment toward my friends, which then fed into the second aspect of number two, emotional superiority, which you knew it was going to happen, girl. We talked about emotional superiority and people pleasing in the very beginning of a Spark of Thought podcast. You should listen to it. It's interesting to think about. And I feel like I was kind of in that trap of, I really liked having answers for people. I really liked having solutions for people. I really liked that you could come to me with problems and I thought that I could just give you an answer to them and fix your problems. You know, I don't think there's anything wrong with feeling frustrated when you give someone advice and they don't take it. I do think it is unfair to only offer advice. I will listen with compassion. I will not try to problem solve anymore. I don't know what you should do. Why would I know what you should do? I don't run your life. I have no clue what you should do. I used to think that because my friends were in situations that I would consider similar to ones that I was either actively in or that I had overcome, I made the mistake of thinking that that put me in some type of position to be able to offer advice that my friends could just take, do, and improve their lives with too. I used to really think it was as simple as just tell people what they need to do and they will do it, and that's the service of your friendship. They will appreciate that your advice is good, that your advice is important, that it's right, and that it helped them. And that was the service that I was offering as a friend, or at least the service that I thought I was offering as a friend. And then as time went on, and these conversations sort of continued with no real change, I started to find myself not feeling frustrated with the, oh my gosh, why aren't you listening to me? Or, oh my gosh, why aren't you solving your problems? I don't really know what to offer this person because my advice is clearly not appealing to this person or not helping this person. I don't know what else to say to this person. I don't know really how to be there for this person in this situation because I don't know what to offer. That's what I would say was the more frustrating part of the entire dynamic, because it was like, not that I felt helpless, but at the same time, I did. And it made me feel like we were just sort of in this infinite loop of okay, you're talking to me about this situation and I am responding, but I'm getting to the point where I feel like, okay, I don't know if talking to me is actually helping anything because my responses are not impacting you at all. and we're coming back on like a very consistent basis talking about the exact same thing over and over and over again, and nothing is seeming to help. And while I definitely think it is okay to be stuck for a really long time and to need to talk about things for a really long time before you're able to move and get past them, as someone who needs to talk about things for a really long time before I can move and get past them, there is a level of, I only talk about things over and over and over again until I can move and get past them, because the conversations I'm having like aren't itching the brain the way that they need to. You know what I mean? Like when you hear what you need to hear and you know that something has just resonated with you and you know that like that's where you're at in the process, it's a lot easier to accept where you are and move forward. So it wasn't so much about, oh my gosh, I'm so amazing and they need to listen to my advice and they won't, so like screw them. It was more of like, I don't know how to be a helpful friend, and as someone who's sort of been boxed in as the unprofessional therapist, not that I'm feeling useless, but I started to feel like our friendship was relying on this entire dynamic. But when you don't even take my advice, I don't know what I am getting out of the friendship, right? It was becoming transactional of, you get to dump your problems on me, I get to respond to them, and if I give you advice and it helps, well then that conversation was worth it because I just helped you. But if you're not taking my advice, you're not listening to me really at all, you're not even like acknowledging that I'm listening to you at all, you're not even really thanking me for talking about the same thing for the 50th time, which it's like, of course, and I would do it a 51st time as well. It would be nice if you could like acknowledge that. Where I have found that advice sort of limits and there needs to be something more is listening with compassion. When I listen to a friend, they say, I'm feeling X, Y, and Z, and here are the reasons why. As they're telling me, I am trying to picture myself going through what they're going through, and I try to consider, would I be feeling the way that this person is feeling? Am I surprised that this person is feeling this way after going through these circumstances? And I try to keep a lot of my responses in the conversation, I try to really keep it focused on the person. No longer the days that I'm telling them, I think you should do this, I think if you do this it would be helpful. I literally only try to validate the feelings in the conversation, because the reality is, I don't know what you should do, girl. When your friends are talking to you about them, they're not talking about you. And so when you start offering yourself as any type of authority, it becomes really hard to separate. Well, it's not that they're not listening to my advice because they don't want my lifestyle, right? Like, why aren't you taking my advice? It's like, because I don't think anyone really picks up the phone and wants advice. I think they just want to be heard and validated and seen, and they want to release the feeling, and then they want to hang up and feel a little bit better and move on. Very few people call you because they actually want your help. People call you because of a particular way that you make them feel during particular circumstances. That is what I have had to really come to learn. And learning that principle has allowed me to really shift away from, you know what, we're not talking about me in this situation, we're talking about them. It's also easier to just validate and let that be that, because I think that advice sort of opens up this idea of, okay, well, we're gonna trial and error my advice together, and I'm going to come back and ask you how my advice went, and if my advice didn't work, then we're just going to reconfigure. I think that that is a lot of involvement in a situation that has nothing to do with you, that I don't know that I would do anymore. I'm willing to cheer you on. I'm willing to tell you that I see you. I'm willing to tell you that I think you're a good person. I'm willing to tell you, everything that I think about you and all the things that I like about you. And I'm willing to tell you that I'm paying attention to your journey and your path and that I see you. I am not willing to step off my path to go walk yours with you. I have gotten a lot of positive feedback from sort of my shift and how I talk to people. Once I started focusing on, yeah, I can understand why you would feel that way because da 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 da, or, you know, it's interesting that you mentioned that because this would be something that would be going through my head or whatever. And I really just help chew on the situation and just unpack the situation for what it is. I have found the positive feedback at the end of the friendships of like, you know, thank you so much for listening, or like, thank you so much for validating me, or like, thank you so much for helping me feel seen in this. It's not my job to get my friends through their life. It's my job to get myself through my life. And that's it. It's not my job to guide my friends down the path that I think they should be going through. It's not my job to determine which way my friends need to turn at the fork in the road. That's their job. That's their responsibility. That is what their life is all about. I think this is a good stopping place. Thank you so much for reflecting with me. If you want to hear about my other experiences during this period of solitude, please continue to check out the Solitude series playlist. I also have an audio-only podcast, A Spark of Thought with Mariah Renee. We just talk about whatever comes to mind. Anything resonated with you today, please leave me a sparkle emoji in the comments, and remember to like and subscribe. Thanks so much for listening or watching, and we will ponder in the next one. Oh yeah, look at that screen. He's like, get off.